Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new today, I'm glad that you're here, and if you're returning, thank you so much for your continuous support. And in my last video, I just reacted to guide to BTS, for haters, skeptics, and non-pop fans by Veracity magazine. And she did such a very good job, teaching me. I would say teaching us, or whoever is watching it that doesn't know as much about them, like myself. She did a very good job with that. So today we're gonna watch her talk about how BTS changed Tiny Desk concerts. So let's get to it.
In 2008, NPR host Bob Boilen and music editor Stephen Thompson left the popular South by Southwest festival disappointed. The loud crowd noise didn't allow them to hear the music of folk singer Laura Gibson properly, so they joked about having to perform behind the host's desk. Eventually, they made it happen, and the Tiny Desk concert series was born. It initially started as a way to give a small independent artist a platform where they could be heard, but a year later, in 2009, a big name reached out to them, Tom Jones. So they decided to welcome big artists as well. That's how they got their first viral performance, T-Pain's Tiny Desk concert. From this point on, a lot of big artists started participating, making the series one of the most popular music shows in the country. Many compare the current relevance of Tiny Desk concert to the one of the MTV Unplugged series during the 90s. The show's format is one of the most popular in pop culture right now. However, only a couple years ago, Tiny Desk was really a big American show. They did have a lot of international artists, but this didn't lead to international franchises or an international audience. That was until 2020 changed the show's format, with a little help from BTS. The Tiny Desk concert producers have been inviting international artists to their show for a long time, and they've revealed that they have invited BTS for years. The show's producers even suggested moving the desk, so the 7 of them could be more comfortable, even allowing them to dance if they wanted to. During these years of invitations, the show had some very famous guests, but year after year, the BTS Tiny Desk concert didn't happen. In my opinion, this makes sense. From 2017 to 2019, BTS's schedule was completely packed, so they had to carefully prioritize. The invitations they did accept were from big events.
Imagine being so good that for 2 years straight you don't have any opening in your schedule. 2 years straight. That is wild. That is mind-blowing. But that's how good they are.
They recognized and broadcast around the world. And as popular as the Tiny Desk concerts were becoming in the US during this time, BTS simply didn't have the time for a show that most international audiences didn't know existed. This was until the pandemic started. In 2020, BTS could not travel outside of South Korea, so their projects could only be promoted through pre-recorded performances they sent internationally. This was the reason why BTS started accepting a lot of invitations they've been rejecting for years. They finally agreed to perform at BBC Radio 1, MTV Unplugged, the VMAs, and of course, Tiny Desk concert. Because this was during the pandemic, BTS participated in a special version of the show titled Tiny Desk Home Concert, in which the artists tried to capture the same unplugged environment at their homes. And because a lot of people around the world were stuck at home during the pandemic, 2020 became one of the biggest years in Tiny Desk history, not just in the US but globally. So BTS's performance, along with other Tiny Desk home concerts, rapidly entered the channel's top 10. I believe that one of the reasons why BTS's performance stood out among other Tiny Desk home concerts is because it felt closer to a regular Tiny Desk concert. So it was not just a popular BTS performance that fans don't even remember what it was for. BTS made it easier to associate this performance with the show, and this was something that not a lot of artists could fully.
I like the way or the fact that they can adapt to whatever condition that they are placed in, whatever situation, no matter what the environment is, they're gonna make it work. You gotta give them that. That
they
is good.
replicate. To do this, BTS performed with a live band at the record store Vinyl and Plastic in Seoul. They performed 3 songs that somehow told a very specific story about the world's situation. The first song was what I consider the escape. In 2020, most popular songs were lighthearted and not too serious, and many associated this with a phenomenon in music known as recession pop, which happens during times of economic crisis. Recession pop happened for the first time in 2008. It had a short resurgence during the pandemic and another one in 2024. So BTS opened their 2020 Tiny Desk concert with what the world wanted to listen to at the time. Not a sad, sentimental song, but some sort of escapism.
It's a disco pop track that we simply wanted to share great energy to everyone around the world.
Dynamite was
Love it.
BTS's first song to be fully recorded in English, so it easily topped charts around the world, including
Nice.
the US specifically.
Bro, that is crazy. That is crazy. Look at that board. Look at the numbers, bro.
With this uplifting pop song, BTS welcomes Western and global audiences to their world. After Dynamite, BTS
I gotta
doesn't
go check that
completely
song out
address the
too, bro.
elephant in the room, but they hinted. While still maintaining an upbeat tone, they sing about the stressful reality. BTS Save Me, released in 2016, is about feeling trapped in a dark place. So they ask someone to please reach out their hand and save them.
The fact that they always have like very colorful hair and
In my opinion,
colorful
they
outfit.
chose this song purely from a storytelling point. BTS has many songs that would fit way better in this unplugged environment of indie music. But Save Me has both the recession music characteristic electropop sound and lyrics that express the feeling of hopelessness that the world was feeling. This
I know their hairstylist, she or he, I know they make a lot of money, considering how frequently they say they change their hair. Bro, that's a
was the
very cool
perfect
business to have.
transition to the third and last song. Spring Day was
Having
the
to
song
dye
that
it all the
surprised
time.
Tiny Desk creator Stephen Thompson the most. He wrote, Spring Day seemed especially true to BTS's hopeful nature. Introduced with a few optimistic words from rapper and singer RM, the song reflects on a need to wait out hard times, even as the weight of present-day pain feels oppressive. Released on the last day of a grim season, Spring Day provides a nice reminder of what awaits us on the other side. We just have to get through fall and winter first.
We live at such difficult time like now we all are wishing for the spring day to come.
It's been the roughest summer ever, but we know that spring will come.
So the relevance of BTS's Tiny Desk concert was not just their participation, it was also the stage. The introduction of BTS's more laid-back side to mainstream audiences, the track list, and the explanation BTS gave of the track list. All of this makes the performance easy to remember, and of course, extremely popular.
차가운 새벽 공기에 나 몰래 눈을 뜨네.
We can still wonder, is this performance relevant because of the format or because of BTS? Is there really a significant international audience used to maximalist performances willing to watch a more laid-back version of their favorite artists? The perfect person to test this was RM of BTS, the second idol invited to Tiny Desk. RM's solo music is more alternative hip-hop and R&B, which allowed him to stay true to Tiny Desk format. RM's Tiny Desk concert happened in December of 2022, so it didn't really need to be a home edition. Tiny Desk went back to prioritizing the regular format by this time, but they made an exception for RM, who didn't travel to America to promote his album Indigo. Tiny Desk creator Stephen Thompson wrote, "Given that BTS's RM is based in South Korea, we let it slide, not least because his team put together one of the most impressive Tiny Desk facsimiles we've seen yet." RM's Tiny Desk concert was released the same day as his album Indigo, but he started his performance with an old song, Soul, from his 2018 mixtape Mono.
Basically, as you know, the capital city, which is my second hometown in Korea. Seoul is the city that I spent the most time since I started music. So I just always been wanting to make a song about Seoul. 똑같은 잿빛 표정. 아니 나는 내가 두려워. 이미 널 부각해보는 거든.
Then RM performs two songs from his album Indigo, Yoon, which originally features the Queen of Neo Soul Erykah Badu, and Still Life, which features Anderson .Paak.
Next song would be first track of the album Indigo.
I really
It's
gotta
about the
check.
Korean
I really gotta
painter,
check him out.
Yoon
RM. I haven't
that
really
have
listened
the
to any
biggest
of his
respect
songs.
art industry. He was
Listen to
always
any
saying
of-
that you
reacted
should
to
firstly
any of
be
them.
human before
So I really do gotta
you
check
do
that
some
out.
art or do something. So the
Maybe
song
Indigo,
is
the one
inspired
she was
by
just talking
his
about.
lifelong message. And when you see the cover of the album, you could see his painting.
I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cool world, but it's gonna be my part.
It's the number 2, track 2 out of this album, and it's called Still Life. So I wrote this song actually out of the museum, so a lot of paintings were titled Still Life. And I felt really strange. The flower as a model of the painting is, dead like a century ago, but it's, still alive in the painting by the painters themselves. So they gave the birth, actually the eternal birth or life to the flowers by painting.
I'm still alive, but I'm moving. Just look now, going forward. Yeah, 멈추지 않은 정물.
Although the Tiny Desk producers were very insistent on having RM on the actual desk in Washington, D.C., the performance was a success. There was a significant international audience willing to watch this format. So after years of having occasional specials for international artists, NPR launched their first official international series, Tiny Desk Korea.
Nice. That's how much influence they have, bro. That's how much influence they have. That's crazy.
NPR joined the Korean telecommunications and media company LGU Plus to create Tiny Desk Korea. The first promotion teaser was released in August 17 of 2023 with the slogan "Tiny but not so tiny concert," a phrase RM said on BTS's Tiny Desk concert.
Everyone could also enjoy a tiny but not so tiny concert.
The first list of performers included V of BTS. His performance was the only one to be released simultaneously on NPR's Music regular channel and the brand new Tiny Desk Korea channel. This gave visibility to the previously released videos of smaller Korean artists and made audiences aware of the new show's format. V of BTS was the perfect artist to have this big premiere. His entire debut album Layover was R&B, jazz, and neo-soul, so he had an 8-member session band performing with him, including 3 backup vocalists. Although the entire album was a perfect fit for this style of performance, V chose the pre-release single Love Me Again, the main single Slow Dancing, and the B-side For Us. NPR and Tiny Desk producer Suraya Mohammed wrote, "Love Me Again starts the set with a catchy hook and steamy verses sung in Korean. You don't have to understand the language to feel the regret and loss.
예전으로 천천히 make it feel better, yeah, make it forever.
V keeps the romantic mood going with an up-tempo R&B
Nice.
vibe on Slow Dancing. V ends the concert with the jazzy For Us.
이번 앨범은 잠시 스쳐가듯 그리고 쉬어가듯 지나가듯 머무는 휴식 같은 곡들로 채웠습니다.
After V's performance, many artists popular in South Korea joined the list of Tiny Desk Korea performers, and only 7 months after the beginning of the series, NPR partnered with the Japan Broadcasting Corporation, or NHK, to launch the second international series, Tiny Desk Concerts Japan. The series was launched with a strategy similar to Tiny Desk Korea. The list of artists part of the big premiere of Tiny Desk Concerts Japan included a big recognizable artist. His performance was published on the NPR Music channel, which brought attention to other performances at the NHK World Japan channel. Mainstream audiences expect BTS to be the typical boy band that performs pop songs with intense choreography.
What do you guys think, though? Do you think they actually impacted the Tiny Desk concert, like how it's been run over the years before them? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think.
Choreographies. So it's no surprise that this is one of the most recommended BTS performances for non-fans. It makes sense. BTS is used to performing in settings like this, but not so much in American shows. This is because America wants to see the boy band side of BTS. As I mentioned, the creator of Tiny Desk Concert was willing to move the desk for the first time ever just so BTS could dance, changing the format of the show. It wouldn't have been a Tiny Desk Concert. It would have been a tiny concert. And I wonder if BTS's performance would have been as impactful as it was if BTS decided to perform Dynamite with a choreography for the 30th time during the pandemic. Tiny Desk concerts were gaining popularity outside the US during the pandemic, so I wouldn't doubt the popularity of BTS's performance, but the impact is something different. Tiny Desk had more than 100 international artists on their show before they had BTS. Some were huge international artists, but it was BTS's performance what made not just international audiences, but also international broadcasting stations truly notice the potential this format had. So
That's hard. That's a bragging rights right there. That's how you know, bro, they got influence, bro. But then you can't, they are just that good,
this
bro.
may have been just one more show that
I
BTS
hate that I'm just
accepted
not
to be
getting
part
into
of
this,
during the pandemic.
to be honest.
This may have been just a casual phrase by RM, but the performance's impact will forever be part of the show's legacy.
And again, big shout out to this lady that does this Veracity magazine. She does an amazing job, educating some of us illiterate, BTS illiterate. Big shout out to her. If you have not checked out her channel, go ahead, check it out, and subscribe to me and subscribe to her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, if you stayed up until now, you might as well like, share, and subscribe. It's gonna help your boy out. And I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. One love, guys.